Welcome to the Unapologetic Mompreneur, the podcast for mums with an online business who are ready to take back their time, home, business, and self so they can restore the balance and thrive, both at home and at work, without feeling like they have to choose between the two. I'm your host, Sarah Dew, life and biz coach for mompreneurs. I'm also a mum, stepmom, wife, introvert, breast cancer survivor, and your mentor for making a change for the better. I've learned how to go from surviving to thriving and unapologetically create a business I love and the life I want for me and my family without worrying about what other people think. And now I'm here to help you do the same. Because being an unapologetic mompreneur doesn't mean that we're selfish or that we don't care about others. It simply means that we are not afraid to show up as our true, authentic selves, to step into our purpose, do what we know is right for ourselves and the ones we love, and take the steps we need to take to make our dream life and business a reality. Join me each week where I'll be sharing all of my best tips and strategies, plus the occasional dose of tough but gentle love to help you feel empowered, motivated, and confident to take action so that you can become the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. So, are you ready to unapologetically create a business and life you love? Let's do this. Hey there, and welcome to episode 78 of the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. Do you know what your stress triggers are? We all have them. Things that we know that if we don't take care of them or we keep putting them off, that will niggle at us and build and build and build and actually just really stress our day out, make us feel overwhelmed and make us feel like we are failing it, that we can't cope and that everything is just too much. As mums, and especially as mums who are trying to grow businesses as well, especially in the margins of the school day, we can often feel that there are a ton of extra other stress triggers that we encounter. Stress triggers is something that I talk about a lot and share with my clients as part of my 4-pillar framework of love your family, love your home, love your business, and love yourself. That is something that is super important that we need to tackle and be aware of and take care of so that we are able to take care of ourselves and that we don't hit that stress, that overwhelm, and that burnout. Because when we recognize and understand our stress triggers, we can manage them and we can put things in place to deal with them before it's too late, before they get the better of us, before they stress our day out, and before they lead for us to exhaustion and burnout and overwhelm. Because if we don't handle them and if we don't deal with them and we let them build up, they can become out of control. They can impact every other area of our lives. They can affect the way we are with our family. They can affect our businesses, our ability to show up and perform. But they also, most importantly, can affect us. They can affect our energy levels and our mental and our physical health and well-being. And so today I thought I would share with you some of the most common stress triggers that I see both crop up time and time again for myself, but also with my clients as well. As mums growing our businesses in the margins of a school day, there are particular stress triggers that I see time and time again, and the few that I manage with as well, and that I've learned to recognize in my own life and what I have done to cope with them. And I want to share these with you today in the hope that they will help you too, so that if they are ones that are stress triggers for you too, you know what to do about them. And if there are others that crop up while you're thinking about this for you too, that you can address them and put plans in place to deal with them before it's too late, before they get on top of you and before they stress you out and overwhelm you. One of my first biggest stress triggers is not knowing what's for dinner. It's one that drives me nuts. It's also one that is easily resolved. And that's the thing with stress triggers, that when you know what they are, actually 9 times out of 10, most of them are easy to solve. I know I've just shared that how they can be overwhelming and they can affect our mental health and our well-being and totally stress us out. And if we don't deal with them, it leads to exhaustion and burnout. But thankfully, the majority of them are actually ones that are fairly easy to resolve. And this first one is a prime example. It sounds silly not knowing what's for dinner, but it super stresses me out. But thankfully, it is one that is relatively easy to solve. It is something that I have learned really super stresses me out. Doesn't matter how good a day I've had at work, sitting behind my PC doing my thing, or out and about running errands, that when I get home and then I don't know what I'm cooking for dinner, I am instantly, in a nanosecond, absolutely stressed out. I hate staring into the cupboards or even just standing in the middle of the kitchen looking around thinking, oh crap, what am I going to cook for dinner? Not knowing what I'm going to be making, that totally gets me. And so now I try as best I can because I'm only human and there's sometimes I still don't do it, but I try as best as I can to have a loose meal plan for the week so that I know exactly kind of what I'm doing so that I can make sure I've got the ingredients in stock to be able to rustle something up for dinner. And so I conquered that one by having a list of go-to meals, of meals I know that I can rustle up in a few minutes that don't require too many ingredients. And then I make sure at the beginning of each week when I'm doing my meal plan and my grocery list to make sure that I've got everything in stock. Do I change the days around sometimes? Absolutely. But knowing roughly what I'm cooking takes away all of that stress. To be able to have had a good day and then walk in the kitchen, grab the ingredients I need. Oh my God, does that make me feel like I am winning? That is one of my biggest stress triggers, and it's something that I see crop up a lot with my clients and with my email subscribers. That when I ask them what they're struggling with right now, a lot of the times it's actually just figuring out what to put on the table for dinner. So if that is a stress trigger for you, grab a piece of paper and just make a note of 10 to 15 go-to meals that you know that is quick and easy to rustle up, doesn't require too many ingredients, and that your family will eat that you can create in about half an hour. Have that list to hand, and then on a Sunday evening or whenever you're doing your grocery shopping, take a look at your calendar, see what's going on, pick out 4 or 5 meals, jot them down, and use those as your inspiration of what you are going to make. I promise you, it makes life so much easier. Another one that I see crop up with my clients a lot, particularly because their kids are at school, is that pressure of the looming holidays. That whenever we feel like we are getting some momentum in our business, suddenly it's a school holiday again, and we are feeling like we're behind. We haven't finished things up. We want to spend time with our kids, yet we have things that we need to do in our businesses, that we have emails to write and social media to schedule and all of that stuff. One of the ways to solve that is syncing your business with your kids' school calendar. Instead of using that quarterly planning, you know this is something that I swear by, is to sync your business with the terms of your child's school year. Map out the terms so that you have an autumn term, spring term, and summer term, just like your child does. Set your goals to match that. And then when you do that and you have your goals to finish, the end date deadline to finish and match the end of term for your kids, suddenly you are a whole lot freer. You're not playing catch up or trying desperately to find time to work on your business during the school holidays or feeling torn between your kids and your laptop. You can use that time in the weeks running up to the holiday to finish up your goals and to prep and schedule everything. It really does take away the stress. And again, it's another stress trigger that is easily solved by doing something fairly simple of syncing your business with your child's school calendar. The looming school holidays being a super common stress trigger for us mompreneurs brings me on to the next two most common stress triggers for us, and that is having last minute content creation and unscheduled emails. I know for me that if I don't have my podcast episodes at least 3 or 4 recorded in advance, it super, super stresses me out. It really gets to me and taps away on my shoulder, and I find it really hard to concentrate and get other things done if I haven't got at least 2 or 3 podcast episodes, preferably a month's worth, already scheduled and done and ready to go in advance. And that's why I batch record my episodes. So I'm sitting here now recording this, and you can bet that it's a good few weeks back that I recorded this before I actually had it scheduled and ready to go on the day that you are listening to it now. There's nothing I hate more than scrambling on a Monday, the day before the episode is due out, either having to actually record it, which I've done a few times because life happens, or having to just sit there and edit it and schedule it and get it ready. Starting my week off and knowing that I haven't got a podcast episode for that week, that really stresses me out. As does knowing that I haven't got any podcast episodes for the school holidays too. And so when I'm mapping out my term time roadmap, when I'm creating my goals and my plan for the coming weeks ahead, I always start my term off and my half term off by batch recording all of the episodes I need for those coming weeks. That way, then I know that they're done and that I'm good to go, and that I'm then free to fully focus on my goals and all of the other tasks and things that I need to do in my business and in life too, generally at home, without worrying or thinking about, oh crap, I haven't got a podcast episode ready. I haven't got a podcast episode scheduled. I'm not sorted. Because that also plays into my personal life as well. If I don't have a podcast episode sorted for the coming Monday and it's Saturday, you can bet I'm stressing all weekend and worrying about the fact that I don't have a podcast scheduled. And it's the same with my emails as well. If you're not already signed up to my 5 to Thrive Sunday series, go do that, because every Sunday I share out 5 tips and strategies that you can use that are simple but mighty powerful to help you go from surviving to thriving in your mompreneur journey. But if I don't have those written and scheduled in advance, that is another huge stress trigger for me too, especially in the holidays. If it's coming up to an Easter break where there's the 2 weeks off, or the summer holidays where there's 7, 8 weeks where I need to have those emails ready, if I go into the holiday knowing that I don't have them, I am super stressed out. And when I'm out with my kids and doing things with Harrison, that is all I can think about. The fact that I haven't got my emails ready. Or it's looming on a weekend and I'm just like podcast episodes. If it's not ready for that Sunday night to go out to my email list, I'm super stressed. And so, again, just like I do with my podcast episodes, I batch create those. I will sit and write them at the beginning of term and make sure that I've got them scheduled out for the coming weeks. I don't do it for the whole term necessarily. I will usually do it up until the half term break. So, like at the moment where we are in January, February, as a recording this episode, I sat down at the beginning of January, it worked out that I had 6 weeks until the February half term break. So I wrote those 6 emails and scheduled them out. And then going into the second half of the term, from February up until the end of term for Easter, I've batched out the following 6 and they're going out now because they're done. It takes away that stress. And so if last minute content creation, whether it is podcast episodes, it's blog posts, or it's social media posts, or it's having those emails that you send out every week to your subscribers and not having them ready, if that is a stress trigger for you, rearrange your calendar and your diary. If you're not using the Term Time Roadmap yet, go and get my Roadmap Masterclass that shows you how to sync your business with your child's school calendar, and then use the weeks at the beginning of the term, at the beginning of the month, to actually batch create all of your content and get it out there so that you know that it is taken care of. And that's one of those things then that is not going to be a stress trigger for you. Ask yourself, what of the content is it that stresses you out if it isn't done? Whether it's Instagram posts, whether it's Facebook posts for your Facebook group, or emails to your subscribers, take the time at the beginning of the month, the beginning of the term, to actually sit down and bash those out, get them scheduled. It is amazing how less stressed you feel and how much freer you feel and how much easier it is to focus on and get everything else done in your business, knowing that those things are taken care of. Okay, another common stress trigger that I see all the time crop up, and one that I always struggle with, is if my house is a mess. I am a little bit of a neat freak. I like things in their place. I'm fairly minimalist when it comes to having things out. I love it when my home is clean and tidy. And if my house is a mess on a Monday morning, that is a huge stress trigger for me. I can't think straight and I cannot sit down and get my work done because all I'm thinking about is wanting to go and clean house. And because I know that's a stress trigger for me, I've put in place that on a Monday morning before I start my work, I blitz my house. That first hour and a half, 2 hours where I start my day once I've taken Harrison to school on that Monday morning, I put my headphones in, I tune into a podcast, and I wander around the house, blitzing it from room to room. It's not a super duper clean, like really deep clean. It is literally just going from room to room, tidying it up, giving it a dust, putting things away, running the hoover around, clearing the decks in the kitchen if there's anything else that needs doing, putting on a load of washing. But it makes such a difference because when it's done, I can sit down, I can concentrate, and I can get to my work fired up and ready to get head down and focused because everything is clean and tidy around me. And it means that I can think straight and that I can concentrate on my work without worrying that there is a little bit of mess in the kitchen, that there is a coffee cup still in the lounge, that there's washing that needs to go on. I don't need to worry about any of that because it's taken care of. It only takes me a couple of hours on a Monday morning, but it is totally worth it for eliminating the stress. So if not, a housework not being done is a stress trigger for you, see if you can adopt it on a Monday morning or a Sunday afternoon or whatever day works best for you. Have a look at what your schedule looks like and ask yourself when would be good to give your house a bit of a quick blitz so that you're then free to focus on your work. That was such a game changer for me. And now, actually, weirdly, as much as I hate housework, I actually look forward to blitzing my house on a Monday morning because it makes me feel like I'm all set and winning before I even start my week. And then I can sit down at my desk, take a big sigh of relief, like, oh, right, now I'm ready. I can dive in and I can do my work. Another stress trigger that I see, and it is another big one for me that has taken a lot of refining and getting used to and dealing with, is your business accounts being up to date. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many years in my business I have been last minute. How many times I have left everything until the last minute, that even though it's been in my to-do list, even though it's been in my diary every month to update my accounts, update my accounts, update my accounts, do I do it? No. Does it stress me out? Oh my goodness, does it? Oh, man, I never learn. But this year has been different. The last year of my accounts has been different. I have tried my hardest to keep on top of it. And now, as part of my CEO Fridays, I set aside a few moments each week on a Friday to update my accounts. I am done with being so last minute to the point where it's quite often literally to the wire on in the January. And I think partly because it's my time blindness with my ADHD that I think I have plenty of time. Oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And then bam, I'm getting the text messages telling me that it is time to submit my accounts, that I haven't done it yet. And so now I build it in because I do not want to spend that first month of the year chasing my tail trying to dig everything out. Fortunately, I always have everything to hand. I have them in folders and files that whenever my invoices, whenever my expenses and all of my income comes through and it comes through on emails, I put it in folders month by month. So it's there, it's sorted, but I just never actually took the time previously to sit down and do it as and when I get it so that it's up to date and that I don't have to spend hours and hours and hours in a January trying to pull it all together. And I know that I'm not alone. I know that so many of us, it's something that we just tend to just leave to the side thinking I'll do that later. And then 12 months later, it becomes this massive beast that we have to tackle. And so if this is you too, I feel your pain. It is like pulling teeth for me. It is not something that I enjoy doing. And this year I'm going to be getting an accountant to take care of it all for me so that I don't have to do it. But a way of relieving this stress trigger is to deal with it when it comes in. When that email comes in now, I put it in my folder for the Friday, and then the Friday of that week, whether it is income or expenditure, I add it to my spreadsheet, I update it, and then I know that it's taken care of. And then for the CEO Friday at the end of the month, I take those figures and I update them for that month so that I know what my income and expenditure is for each month. And then come end of tax year, I can submit it when it is needed in time with plenty of time to spare. This year, my goal, because I've tried to keep on top of it, is to actually get it submitted as soon as after the April. No waiting until the end of January to actually get it in as soon as I can, preferably even way before the summer holidays, so that unlike the previous years, I'm spending the summer holidays stressing that I need to do it and then I still keep putting it off. So if accounts are a stress trigger for you, take the bull by the horns and just set aside 10-15 minutes at the end of every week to update your accounts. Once you get into that rhythm and flow, it does become a habit and it just takes away that pressure. But if that's a stress trigger for you, I feel you. Okay. The final stress trigger that is super, super common for us mums running businesses, and especially running businesses in the margins of the school day, is all of those unexpected challenges. Things like sick days and school clubs being cancelled at the last minute, all of those sort of unexpected challenges, us becoming sick ourselves, the flu season, all of that stuff. When those crop up and our day to day, our normal plan for the day goes out of the window, it can set us into a flat spin. It can make us feel like we're rushed, that we're stressed, that we're not going to get our work done, that everything's gone out the window, that suddenly we're having a bad day. But actually, if we have contingency plans in place for those unexpected things, that we can deal with them, even down to having a list of little tasks that we can do that are still going to help us move the needle forward when our kids are homesick. Things that we can work on in our business that don't require full deep focus work. Having that list and having contingency plans in place can really help take away that stress. So adding buffer time, things like having a bit of a buffer time at the end of the week or towards the end of the term, allowing yourself a week at the end of the term where you have nothing planned, but is kind of a wrap-up week. Or an hour or two on a Friday for what I like to call Frog Fridays, where we're dealing with those things that we didn't quite get to finish. Having that buffer time in place can really help to give us that bit of wiggle room and breathing space so that if the unexpected does happen, we have time to pick ourselves back up, get back on track, and still accomplish the things that we set out to achieve. So there we have it, just a few of the most common stress triggers that I see crop up both for myself and time again with my clients when I'm working through with them on my coaching programs. Those stress triggers are super common. And when we get into touch with and we tap into what they are and what our stress triggers are, and then we have a few plans in place to deal with each one of them, to either cut them off at the pass or tackle with them when they do arise, that can really help take away all of that stress and make it feel like we are back in control again. Takes away all of the overwhelm and helps us take that little bit breather that we have got this. So whether it is not knowing what you've got for dinner, whether it is last minute content creation or unscheduled emails, that stress of the looming school holidays, your accounts not being up to date, your house being a mess, whatever the stress triggers are for you, if you have said yes to any of those that I've shared today, adopt the strategies to help you tackle with them and deal with them. Have that little quick list of go-to meal plans. Plan your business so that it syncs with your child's school calendar so that when it is the holidays, that is the same time that your goals are finishing up too, so that you're ready to enjoy the time off with your kids. Blitz your house on a Monday morning. Schedule ahead and use the start of the term or the start of the month to create and schedule all of your emails and all of your content. Take the time to do your accounts as and when. Set some time aside every week just to spend a few minutes updating them. And then ask yourself what you can use for your contingency plans just in case the worst happens so that you can still get things done in your business. Spend a few moments over the next few days thinking about what your stress triggers are. What is it that gets you? What is it that irritates you, winds you up, and stresses you out? And what can you do about it? They don't have to be huge things. Sometimes the really small things can really stress us out. It could be remembering to collect your meds from the pharmacy. It could be realizing on a Sunday night that your kid's school uniform hasn't been washed yet, or that they haven't done their homework, which is quite a common thing in my house. It could be remembering to post the card for a family or a friend for their birthday, or getting a gift for somebody that you love. Doesn't matter what it is, big or small, those stress triggers, they can stress us out. What can you do to tackle them, get hold of them and tackle them like a pro and deal with them so that you're not feeling stressed out or scrambling at the last minute? Tackle these stress triggers, have plans in place, and life will be a whole lot less stressful and much more enjoyable. I hope this episode has helped. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway is. Send me a DM over on Instagram at the Unapologetic Mompreneur. If you've got any questions or you want help tackling your stress triggers, it is a perfect topic for us to dive deep into in one of my power hours. You'll find the link for that in the show notes. In just 60 minutes, we can talk through all of them and I can help you devise a plan to tackle each and every one. That's it for today. Here's to conquering our stress triggers and making life less stressful and more enjoyable. You have got this, Mama, and I can't wait to chat with you in the next episode. Bye for now. Thank you so much for joining me for another installment of the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I would love for you to leave me a rating and a review so that other mompreneurs can find this podcast too. Here's to unapologetically becoming the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. I can't wait to chat with you in the next episode. Bye for now.